Hello, Harvey here from Providence IT, and today I'd like to talk to you a little bit about web hosting. Specifically, I'd like to talk about why it's critical for your business and also talk to some existing customers and find out just how they find our web hosting services. So most websites you can break up into two categories. You have brochure websites and also e-commerce websites. Brochure websites are generally for the service-based businesses. So these are accountants, solicitors, wealth management firms, things like that. The website doesn't necessarily directly facilitate their business, but it is still pretty crucial for them to have an online presence for marketing, prospective customers, or just anyone that wants to learn a little bit more about that business. E-commerce websites are for businesses that sell physical products, virtual products, downloadable products, or any form of membership-based website. For these kind of businesses, as I'm sure you can imagine, their website is crucial, as if it goes down, that business simply cannot trade. So generally when it comes to web hosting, there are three pillars of success, and they are performance, security, and reliability. So performance is an interesting one, as you don't just want a fast website, you also want a scalable website. And what that means is you don't want to be overpaying each month for a ton of web hosting resources that you're only really using during your peak seasons. And you also don't want to be paying for subpar hosting technology that whenever you have a sudden influx of customers gets overrun and you have to take your website down and migrate it to a better server, which just gets in everybody's way. Ideally, what you'd like is web hosting infrastructure that can be easily scaled both up and down. So if you're having a busy month or going into a peak sales period, your web infrastructure can be very quickly scaled up and deliver a fast performance to all the new influx of customers. And similarly, if things have dried up a little bit and it's going into a quiet period, you would ideally want to scale that down in such a way that potentially saves you money each month on your web hosting bill and you're not paying for wasted resources. So security is the next big pillar of success that often gets overlooked when it comes to web hosting. As I'm sure you can imagine, websites are no longer the simple things they once used to be, and these days they are a mess of complicated interconnected code that if somebody figures out how to poke and prod at it in the right way, will get it to do things it shouldn't be able to do and give them access to things that they shouldn't have access to. So this is something that you as the website owner shouldn't have to worry about too much. It should be the responsibility of your web hosting provider to make sure that your server, the web application itself, and everything in between is all kept up to date and secure consistently. And then last on the list of things to consider, reliability. It's no good if you've got a website that's super fast, super secure, but it's down 50% of the time. So when you're choosing a hosting provider, you need to make sure that they set it up with redundancy, with backups at least daily, ideally hourly, and you also need to make sure that they're monitoring it properly. We come across far too many web hosts out there that are just interested in monitoring the web server that the website sits on, and their monitoring alerts say, oh yeah, that's fine, no problems here. Meanwhile, the website itself, due to a bad WordPress update or a Magento misconfiguration, has stopped working all of a sudden, and the web hosting company has no idea until the customer figures out and they have to call up and say, our website's down, can you help it? What we do as a web hosting provider is not only monitor the server that the website sits on and all of the infrastructure that goes with it, but more importantly monitor the website itself. We're looking for things like increased response times all of a sudden, general performance issues, and a clever one that we look for as well is keyword detection. So we get an alert if one of our customers' websites have a keyword that's usually on the page but it's no longer present, which indicates that the website has had some form of malfunction or bad update and it's not displaying as normal anymore. So we can check that out straight away, and if there's a problem, try and fix it ourselves, but also let the customer know. So that's enough about the general things to consider, and now I'd like to move a little bit more into what we do as a company and have a conversation with some of our existing customers and how they found our services over the years. So first up on the list, we've got Tom from Creative Education. Hello, Tom, how you doing?
Hey, Harvey, I'm great, thank you. How are you?
Yes, delightful, thank you. So for those that do not know, would you mind telling us a little bit about Creative Education and your role within the business?
Yeah, sure thing. So my name's Tom Hesmanhage. I'm the Managing Director of Creative Education. We provide online teacher training to schools and colleges around the UK and internationally as well.
So in that year, how have you been finding this?
We have quite a complicated and quite a sort of unwieldy WordPress site that we host with you. It's been a really positive experience, because obviously it's not been the case where we've just sort of set it and forget it at the beginning of the year. We've been sort of working together well across those 12 months, just to sort of tweak it and improve it, and just sort of get the structure really working for us and for our customers.
Just out of interest, how do you reckon we compare, like in terms of service levels, reliability, costs, and the all-important general satisfaction?
I mean, WP Engine are good, but they were brutally expensive, and I think the key problem was that it was just such a black box. So even when you're chatting to the support admins, you don't really have a sense of, how spec the machine is that's sitting in their Google Cloud server at the other end, and what they're doing with it. They wouldn't even provide a lot of the technical information to you over the chat, which made troubleshooting really hard. And obviously, you and I both know that if we've got an issue, which we rarely do, but if something did crop up, then give you a call, and you or a colleague are at the other end, and we can get to grips with it really quickly. And that was just what we were really missing with WP Engine. Like, yes, the service is good and it's reliable, but it was really hard to troubleshoot, and it was really hard without a real proper name and face at the other end to get to grips with kind of, if there was a problem, what the problem was.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I got some statistics as well, which I'll check with you before I share them publicly. But in terms of requests, just over the last 30 days, the web infrastructure has served 7 million, which is quite a lot of requests, and that's from
That's cool.
61,000 unique visitors, which is, again, also quite a lot. And your site, I've not got the growth chart in front of me, but currently we're over 216,000 members, which is incredible, and definitely needs some serious oomph behind it to make sure that goes smoothly. But on the whole, glad to hear that you're happy with us so far, and hopefully long may it continue. Thank you very much for your time, Tom. I will leave you to enjoy the rest of your day, and see you soon.
Okay, brilliant. Thanks, Harvey. Take care.
Always a pleasure to talk to Tom, and he'll be watching this now, so thanks again for your time, Tom. Next up, we've got Dids from Anti-Copying in Design. Honestly, I don't expect you to remember me, as it has been quite a while since we last spoke, but what more do you want from an IT provider? Just to pay to have things working and hosted and not really have to worry about them, I guess.
Well, I must say that is exactly, you've put it in a very succinct form. We're delighted to work with you at Provident IT Solutions, and you make a great team with Katie, because she does all the sort of, the front end stuff, and I know that you're busy there, supporting with the backup. I think the thing for us is that it's the immediacy of response to if we do ever have any queries. So as far as we're concerned, that's spot on.
There's not been many, but you guys do have a pretty big website with quite a lot of unique members that log in. So from time to time, something comes along, like a WordPress update or something that just causes some kind of glitch. But yeah, I'm glad our response times make its way up to yourself. Is we do definitely try our hardest. One thing I was hoping to talk about was just a comparison of the kind of the solution you've got now with your current website, with us hosting it, versus your previous website and the previous web provider, because it's been probably just over a year now since you've had the new website launched. So what are some kind of key comparisons between the two? I take it you hopefully prefer the new site with our hosting solution than the old one with the previous one.
Yeah, I mean, like anything, when you go through this transitional process, it's a very difficult journey, because you understand 100% what you're talking about. For mere people like us, we don't necessarily, we know what we want to happen, but we don't know how to make it happen. So certainly it's been a kind of baptism of fire for us, but you've helped us all the way. And, one of the issues that we had before was that it took so long to get, response and action. And it became like, a lot of email traffic, which is, as you know, is time consuming. So the system you have in place is good, it's effective, and it works.
And there we go. Thank you very much for your time, Dids. And one more, we've got Katie from a company called Kreativity Marketing that we've worked with for a few years. Katie, hello, how you doing?
Hi Harvey, really good, how are you?
Yes, delightful, thank you. One of the things I wanted to talk about was how long we've been working together, and I've had a quick look through emails, but they seem to go back quite a while. I think the earliest I found was around about 2020 or so. Does that match roughly with what you're thinking?
Yes, we're coming up to 3.5 years. So I think it was around April 2020.
Well, the good news is you're still working with us, so we clearly can't be doing too much of a bad job.
Absolutely not. No, I've got no complaints. It's been nothing but a breath of fresh air for all these years. So it feels like I've known you forever. But also, you have so little, if any, problems with you at all. That it's just been a really seamless 3 years. I think when you don't need to worry about something. It just
Understood. How do you reckon you found our kind of obviously it's not just web hosting and it's not just technical assistance, it's kind of a few things that we've worked together on in the past, but in general, how would you say you found our technical services, as it were?
Yeah, as you know, I've worked with a lot of hosting providers before, so I've had my fair share of the good, the bad and the ugly. So I think I've seen it all, witnessed all the kind of different levels of technical assistance provided by IT companies. And I can honestly say that Provident is one of the most, responsive, personable, one of those, and just really kind of on the ball. I think what you're looking for in a provider is someone who's proactive, not reactive. And, when it comes to websites, it's so important that they're up and running all the time. They're speedy, they're optimized, because, the end user on those websites expects that. It's just, part and parcel, today's tech, people's expect things to work speedily. So I think, I've always been looking for a provider who can keep websites up and running. If there are problems, proactively solve, before it even becomes an issue. I think that's why it's been so seamless. Is I'm so used to kind of firefighting, and then having to reach out and get in touch via some kind of online form where it takes 2-3 days response time, and 2 or 3 days in today's world is really critical.
I think that's the problem. You've kind of, before you kind of met us, you was with some of those bigger players that are, some of them are cheap enough, but ultimately you're a small drop in a massive ocean, and you're kind of left alone to your own devices to set yourselves up, and you still don't really know whether you're secure, whether you've got everything you need. And if you do need support, you're dealing with a kind of faceless, nameless corporation almost. So it's good that we've been able to help. And there we go. That's that. So hopefully you've now got a better understanding of the web hosting services that we deliver as a company, but also the kind of web hosting attributes you ought to be looking for when you're seeking a web hosting provider. If you're a new business looking for web hosting, or maybe you've been going for years and you're just not overly happy with your current provider, please get in touch with us. We don't charge anything for consultancy or to see if we can help in any way. I will quite happily talk through your requirements with you, even if you're not 100% sure what they are. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.